Please be seated. Before we get started on our work for this morning, allow me to say thank you for being here on this cold day. And I would like to say thank you to your rector, Della, for inviting me back, and to Jerry for welcoming me into his home and making me coffee this morning. I am Nicholas Porter. I'm an Episcopal priest and an educator. I've spent a lot of time with my wife living in the Middle East and in Europe. And 15 years ago, the restlessness in our heart about the Middle East just compelled us to start something called Jerusalem Peacebuilders. Hope you'll join us for a bit more about that after the service. But we started with just 11 kids. Cindy Trask is with us, one of our early supporters. 11 kids. And we are on track in the next couple of years to be working with 100,000 kids a year. Okay? Peace is possible. So what's my task with you today? To give you a taste for Jerusalem Peacebuilders and what we do, or some of what we do. Connect that to the gospel in our readings, particularly Isaiah. That's a fabulous reading. And then connect all that to us here in Newport and beyond. With me? It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm not going to be up here for anything close to 2 hours, okay? So, let's start with just a little taste. On October 7th, 2023, I was on the road from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. And I was with a group of friends from Belgium and Switzerland, where I used to live and where some of my children were born, doing sort of a deluxe experience in the Holy Lands. And on the road, we saw those flashes of rockets coming out of Gaza. Even on the bus, we could feel the earth tremble. And we saw these enormous plumes of smoke as they struck fuel depots and any number of things. We diverted the bus very quickly up the number 6 highway and went up to the Galilee. The next day, we heard the sky scream as thousands of Israeli fighter jets were going to retaliate over Gaza. After getting the group safely onto the Jordan side a day later, I decided I was going to stay. Jerusalem's my second home. I'm not going anywhere. So 2 hardy souls stuck with me, and we went back to Jerusalem, just outside the old city. And there was that feeling that it would never be the same again. That this little village, which is the old city of Jerusalem, would be changed forever. Everybody was leaving. The hotel, when we first got there, was full. A day and a half later, it was empty. There was just the 3 of us there. Everybody was running for their lives. And we were told we need to go too. Because when the land invasion starts, they're going to seal the borders. And as we were preparing ourselves to leave, I couldn't help but think of a friend of mine, one person, an American citizen, her name's Suhaila Tarazi, who runs the one Christian Episcopal hospital in the Gaza Strip. We could leave. What was going to happen to her? So I called her up. Suhaila, you got to go. Oh, Father, I got to button up my house. Next day, you got to leave. Oh, Father, I got to sort out the medicine at the hospital. You got to leave. Oh, Father, I have to have a series of meetings with the staff. The next day, they blew up her house. The day after that, they blew up her office. And the day after that, they blew up the second house she was in. Called her up. It's time to go. I know, Father, but the gate is closed. The gate had been sealed. What causes someone, bright, well-educated, doctor, person who's lived all over the world, to ignore the clear and present imperative? What causes us to do that? Well, it's a problem humanity seems to have, huh? That's what that fabulous reading in Isaiah is all about. How come you stay in your house and don't provide shelter to the homeless poor, or feast and not give anything to the hungry, or wear fancy duds and leave people naked? Why do you call it a fast when it's anything but? Isaiah is wrestling with the things of our lives too. He's got that great tension in there, right? Shouting and silence, action and complacency. It all gets summed up in one gospel word that is guaranteed to make all of us feel super uncomfortable, and it's called righteousness. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Friends, this is not just an Old Testament problem. It's not just Suhaila's problem. It's our problem too. We get distracted from the clear and present priorities all the time. So let me go over a couple of them for you from the past 5 years. COVID. That was a distraction, dividing us between vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. People who were believed in individual liberty and freedom, and others that were more interested in collective caution. Maybe the last 3 election cycles, dividing conservative from progressive, right from wrong. Oh, and there's more. We have been shouting at each other about gender, refugees, taxes, Israel and Palestine. A couple weeks ago it was Greenland. Now it's ICE. Woke, anti-woke, in-group, out-group, canceled. We can go on. We can go on. And what Isaiah and Paul and Jesus are asking us today is, as followers of the Messiah, as inheritors of grace, should those things, and really shouting about those things, be our primary mission? No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. That's a big ask. Yeah. For Jesus, the primary mission is demonstrable action of loving your neighbor. That serves God. That glorifies God. You want to know what righteousness is? It's right there. Take a look at that Isaiah. Take a look at the Psalm. It tells you exactly. Want something simpler than that? Take a look at that cross. Loving your neighbor as yourself. You know, God did something amazing in Jesus Christ. Something that changed the universe, restored its redemptive power, filled the cosmos again with life, and gave us a kingdom. And yet, for most of us, that kingdom seems pretty far off, doesn't it? A lot of days feel like long, dark nights where the light is long spent. And yet, God did something in Jesus Christ long before any of us were born. That is ours. Even in the harried, fragile clay vessels of our lives. So soon, it's going to be Lent. I mean, we're just peeking over the edge at Lent, right? 10 days. Let me share a couple questions for all of us to help us navigate. What of the distracting traumas of the past 5 years still has hold of you? Which one or one still has hold of you, where you're sort of dwelling? And what's that done to your heart? What's the texture of your heart? Hard, stony, broken, tender? Are there any works of darkness dwelling in you that you're unwilling to cast out? Are there any attitudes, cherished attitudes perhaps, that are incompatible with God's reign of universal love in Jesus Christ? That's the fast we choose. So on October 12th, I took a plane from Amman, Jordan to Istanbul, and from Istanbul back home to Boston, leaving Suhaila Tarazi and 600 other Americans trapped inside the Gaza Strip. I didn't sleep very well. About a week into it, I was on a Zoom link call with a group of people and Suhaila, and she just looked at me. That night, I started making phone calls. Every senator, congressman, congresswoman, you name it, bishops. I think the low point got to where the most powerful Anglican bishop in the world, I called him up, happened to have a way to do that, and he just said, "It's beyond us now. It's beyond us now. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you'll never get into the kingdom of heaven." And at that moment, something cracked. The next day, I got a call from the Boston Globe that wanted to run an article on U.S. citizens trapped in the Gaza Strip. They took about that much of what I said. 2 days later, a TV station in Houston read that and said, "We want to talk to you about that." Still not feeling very good about things. I was with my daughter. It's a sunny day. I'm in shorts and a polo shirt in Washington. And the phone rings outside of Dunbarton Oaks. Hello? "Hi, this is Jake Tapper with CNN. I hear you're the guy to talk to about Gaza." I said, "Maybe. I'll call you back in a half an hour." Go back to my daughter's apartment. He calls again. Talk for 15 minutes. He said, "You are the guy to talk to about Gaza. Be ready in 45 minutes. We're going live." Okay? I don't know about you, but I don't speak to a few million people live very often. I was also in shorts and a polo shirt. So I ran around my daughter's apartment. I did find sort of a men's shirt, and I also found a tie. I didn't ask any questions about where the tie came from later. I found a tie so that at least the top of me could look okay, right? We talked about American citizens trapped. And we talked about Suhaila, the Mother Teresa of Gaza. Let me go on for almost 15 minutes. You usually get about 2. That night, at about 2 a.m., I got a phone call. No name, no number, one of those. I was like, do I want to answer this? It's like, I think I got to answer this. And it was a woman's voice on the other side. And she said, we heard the broadcast, and it's touched our heart, and we're going to help you get her out. So for the next week, myself and one of the board members of Jerusalem Peacebuilders worked 24 hours a day. One would sleep and one would be awake. It's amazing what you can do with your cell phone. Helped guide this extraction. I mean, the last night, they are doing the craziest things with computer systems and all sorts of stuff. But they said we have to have a geolocator on her. She has to be exactly in one spot. So when the agents come to extract her, she'll be the one, because if there's a cat there, they grab the cat, or a granddaughter or something. So we got her there. It was a heck of a time getting a geolocator when there's no cell service. But we got one. And they came and they grabbed her. And they put her in a car, drove like crazy in all kinds of directions, got her to the fence, the gate, cut the gate, and she walked to freedom on the other side. Conveniently, at that very moment, I get a photograph from someone on the Egyptian side that shows her walking through. Now, the story could end there, but thank God it didn't. Because when they cut that gate for her, about 550 other American citizens, primarily women and children, who had been there begging and pleading to cross, got to escape to the other side too. You see, doing all those things that Isaiah talks about aren't easy. But on that cross behind me, Jesus promises us one thing: that if we try, He'll be there right with us. See, that's the only way we could ever exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, is with help. So as we head into this great fast of Lent, along with asking yourself some of those questions I shared earlier, pray for the grace and the healing to overcome everything that keeps you and me stuck in our places, talking instead of doing, thinking instead of loving, holding tight to that darkness when we could be forgiving and being forgiven. As we come up for communion shortly, remember Isaiah. And I hope you take that passage home and read it. But remember Suhaila. Stuck, but saved by amazing grace.